Let's go.
Snow won't stop an inline skater in Seattle.
Well, we don't have a lot of ice around here, so what skating is done year-round on wheels.
But a bump in the road can.
I found myself skating some back streets one day that were so rough that I couldn't actually skate. I had to take my skates off and start walking, and it just occurred to me, why don't they put springs on these things?
Jim Moses wasn't happy with how bumpy inline skates can get, so he decided to make his own. With rates, your body ends up doing the shock absorption.
All inline skates the wheels are mounted on a rigid frame, and so any bump in the street is transmitted through the skate into the skater's foot and leg and so forth. It can actually stop the skate in its tracks, and of course the skater falls on their face. Our wheels will give, they spring. It's the same principle as on a suspension on a bicycle or a car or anything else. You just get a much smoother, safer ride.
It took Jim about a year of scheming to come up with a design. Then a friend introduced him to Jeff, a local builder.
At the time, I had never seen any skates with inline suspension. I thought it'd be a really neat project to work on with them, so I signed up.
Jeff would go on the milling machine and cut the spring a little bit. I would put the skate on and run down the street with it and see how it worked. And if it worked, we were there. If it didn't, we would cut some more and so forth.
They soon had their first prototype.
We wanted to keep this as standard as we could as far as the parts and pieces. You can get most any inline skate off a store shelf and take the wheels off that as well as the boot and bolt it onto. It's just a spring. As you hit bumps, the spring will deflect and dampen those bumps. Where a regular rigid skate, it's going to lift up a little bit as it rides over the bumps. And this will absorb the impact of those little bumps as well as dampen the high frequency vibrations as you're skating over rougher pavement.
So by mounting two leaf springs on opposing sides and just supporting the wheel from one side, you're able to come up with this system that allows for a standard inline skate.
Today, they're on their 6th generation model, but not much has changed from the original design.
I mean, if you skated on this one, it would feel almost identical to this one.
The first time Jeff took the skates out for a spin, it was a totally new experience.
It was hard to explain. It just softened it. It was almost like you were skating on a carpet versus skating on the pavement. It just smoothed out all the harmonics, the vibrations, and high-frequency buzz that puts your foot to sleep.
Jeff's not the only one who likes
them. That we've given our demo skates to, it's been really tough to get them back. We've got a gentleman in his late 70s that has a pair of our skates, and he participates in some of the marathon events that we have in Seattle.
I would not be able to skate if it was not for the SpringSkate.
He's had a couple hip replacements, and yeah, he just keeps on going.
They invited a few local skaters out to try the SpringSkate.
Pretty springy, just since it's new. It's always good to have it on. As I was skating around, I pushed off and my toe wheel caught something on the ground and it stopped. But normally that probably would have took me down, but with the suspension kind of springy there, it kept me up and it kept rolling.
So they're pretty smooth, so when you roll over them, they just bounce. The wheels bounce, but the skates don't, so you don't really feel anything.
Right now, the SpringSkate is only a prototype. They're not available to buy yet. But remember, the springs let your ride, but it can't make up for raw talent.
Of course, there's lots of places we can't go, but any surface that can be skated on with a standard inline skate, you just do it better with it. That's all. And as I say, it's made for the unexpected imperfections